by and trying to make sure that I actually have like character descriptions. The funny thing is, I didn't give a character description for my main character of that series in the first book at all.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know what I knew what she looked like, but I never put a solid description in. So
Okay,
she's got one now.
I think we're live. I think it's working.
Awesome.
I'm actually gonna
Yeah,
check.
because
out.
I didn't see like the countdown in the recording on.
Yeah,
Riverside,
so it's so basically I'm screen. What's the freaking word? It's already started. Gosh dang it. Screen sharing sort
Gotcha.
of thing. Like I've got Riverside where we have our call, but then OBS is grabbing that and sending it to YouTube.
Gotcha.
And I think it's working. Nobody's here yet. But
Okay.
I didn't really expect
check.
anybody to be here yet.
I have a thought. Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Can you go onto YouTube on your phone and
Yeah, that would be
search
awesome.
to see if we're
I
live?
was about to do that, but if she does that, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I just posted a comment. We're live.
Are we?
Nice.
I thought I'd be able
You
to
can
see
tell we're
comments. I mean, this is just the first time we're doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, the comments should appear in real time.
I wonder if no, because Riverside gets finicky if we have other browsers and stuff open. I'll just use my
Okay.
phone.
Of course, I just realized now, as we're in the middle of live, that I'm open in an app other than Chrome. So, fingers crossed.
Yeah, that might.
gosh,
I
yeah.
forgot about that.
Well, we're not. I don't know if it's gonna work because. Well, I don't know if it's actually gonna do it because we're not recording on Riverside this time. We're just
Right.
having the call, and I wonder if all of our issues have always come when we're recording.
Sure.
Yeah, we're live.
Ta-da.
Heck yeah.
Crystal's got us. Oh, yep. There we are.
Can Crystal comment so we can see
Can
if
you
it
put a-
shows up?
Comment, sweetie.
We're soliciting our viewers for comments. We're not above
It's the
that.
advantage of having a very supportive wife who's also technically competent.
Nice.
So, her job is solving technical problems.
That sounds stressful.
Fortunately, her company's not huge. So,
Hey, JC, what does your shirt say?
reigning dad joke champion.
Nice.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I have yet to hear you crack dad jokes on the pod, though. I'm kind of disappointed.
Which is honestly surprising. Like, usually I just do. I think it's because I'm in writer head. And when I'm in writer brain, I'm less dad jokey than when I'm not. I've
when you
discovered.
become JC Bybee, you just put
Yeah.
away your childish things. Yeah.
I'm not seeing any video, just audio.
Weird. It's interesting. Crystal's only got audio, but I didn't get. Mine had video.
How about now?
And you
I've-
got about a
I have
5-second
video.
delay, by the way.
Is there video now?
Not on hers. Tyler or Gray, you said I'm gonna do that right. Gray said he's got video.
There is a little bit of a delay, of course, but I think it's
Yeah.
not much.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I shouldn't touch anything, and then maybe because I think it's because I'm
Good
switching
plan.
between my windows, which
Yeah.
is gonna make
You want me to
actually
go?
giving you guys critiques hard. I'm really pissed at my second monitor. It would have made tonight a lot
Oh
easier.
gosh, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'm like, if I knew more, I would have, because I've got my full setup,
Mm-hmm.
but of course we got brand new internet, so I've got to get rerun the hardwire, figure out how to do that.
I'm gonna get out and get back in.
So, but I'm on YouTube on my phone, and we've got.
So maybe let's
got
have one
video
of you.
over there.
Maybe let's have one of you guys watch the comments actually, because it's not being as easy for me as I thought it was going to be. I can see that we have one person watching us, but I'm not actually seeing the comments on the OBS Studio window. And if I go off of the OBS
Right.
Studio window, that's when our video goes away.
Goes away. Okay.
Really? Oh, I might be able to.
Well,
Crystal's comment
you're
is
the
just a comment. It's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
comment.
Fortunately, we still have time. So
Oh, I'm messing with everything. I just need to stop messing with everything.
Hey, let us not forget, one of us at least after 7 p.m. has to plug the Comic-Con thing. Like that has
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
to
it
be maybe at the
does.
beginning and the end.
Yeah. That's a big one. And I don't. I've got to ask because they just announced the slots are opening to advertise in the brochure for Comic Con. And I got to ask if we need to do another, like if we as the podcast needs to do, should do or can do an advertisement in the brochure for ours or
How
not.
much did you say that was?
The cheapest price was $75, and that's what I did that last year. I don't know that I'm going to this year.
I wish I had some data to know, like,
Yeah.
if that would have any measurable impact, especially night one, since
Yeah.
most people will be receiving their books, on Saturday morning or right as they walk in. They'll have an hour to go through.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll have looked at the book yet.
That video dropped out
Did it already?
on my.
Gosh dang it.
Yeah.
I'm writing down my notes into a notebook so I don't have to have it during the actual.
It's back.
Okay, it's back. Okay, it is working.
Yeah, I got it back. Yeah.
Okay, I might actually be okay then.
I'm gonna do this. I've got my fancy Z Fold phone, so I can actually put it half open. Now I
Oh,
can
that
monitor
is
the. I can monitor the chat, the comment window. Night, bud.
Night, Dad.
We've got 3 people watching. Of course, that could be me, Crystal, and Gray.
Yep, I believe so.
Yep. That's fine.
It's okay.
That's
We're still good.
Yeah, and
Still good.
if nobody else comes on, we're recording an episode, so it's all
Yeah,
good.
it's still yeah. That's the mindset that I've got to take, is that this is still an episode that it's happening. We would be recording normally anyway tonight. It's not a waste of time. It's
Yeah.
just
Although I will need to remember to actually hit the recording button because we're streaming, but we're not recording yet.
yeah.
So that would suck if I forgot to hit that.
Yeah.
Although
Let's record.
although
pull
YouTube
from
actually
YouTube.
will automatically. Okay. So I don't have to be too. I'll
So
still.
YouTube will record
I'll
it.
still hit. It will still show up on YouTube on our channel.
Okay.
I'm 80% certain.
Yeah, we should be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
JC, how many books do you have published?
Currently, I have 8.
8. Wow.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna have number 9. When exactly?
9 and 10. 9 and 10 will be released at Comic Con.
So
That's awesome.
the 15th of May.
And will that be Technomancer and the one you said you got your revisions done
Yep.
for this week?
Yep. The Phantom Thief and Technomancer.
That's
So
awesome.
you guys might not get to read the end of Technomancer because I might flip over to something else so I can get the revisions done on that.
No, yeah, that
You're gonna
I
force us
get
to buy
that.
it to. No more free samples, guys.
Well, and that's the funny thing. Like looking at it, I remember Dan and Brandon talking about it either on Writing Excuses or Intentionally Blank, talking about how their critique group didn't always go through the entire book. Like sometimes it was just the first 3 chapters, and based off of that, they would go off of what their critique group gave them, and occasionally would, sometimes they would do a bigger chunk as they progress through. I like the fact that there's just 3 of us, so we've been able to do in my part, almost my entire book. It's made a big difference for me. I didn't struggle as much with A Phantom Thief than I did with Technomancer. That one came pretty quick. I didn't have as many hiccups with it. Granted, I did also delete the first 25,000 words.
Yep.
So once I got it started, I was fine. Getting it started was the hard part, and then everything kind of flowed. Technomancer, I started it really easy, but then just getting it going after that was really hard. So
Yep.
I'm glad I had you guys on that one versus Phantom Thief.
It's so easy to get stuck. I was experiencing this all week, and then I had someone else read my stuff, and I thought about a few things that you guys said, like what would need to come next. I was like, oh, cool. Like this helps like shove me forward. Like A, my writing doesn't suck, and B, I might have an inkling of what not to do going forward. Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
helpful.
Oh, is it this next Monday that we're having a little meet and greet with what's her face,
With Kim, yeah.
Kim?
Yeah.
I still don't know why I thought her name was Brittany.
Stop saying
That's
Brittany.
I'm gonna have to send a message ahead of time. I apologize if the name Brittany comes up because
I apologize for my idiot co-hosts.
This is a pen name now. Brittany.
yeah, because we're writers and names get stuck in our heads. Yeah.
It's like the reverse effect of when you meet somebody and their name just gets instantly deleted from your mental database as soon as they introduce themselves. Like, I am Jeff, and you just are not capable of memorizing the name
Yeah.
Jeff at the moment.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it lasts for like 3 months of just awkward interactions. Hey, you, how are you doing?
Hey, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
So I often just apologize the second time I meet someone and say, I don't always remember names. A couple of traumatic brain injuries in high school, so
I'll
such
do
a
it.
valid excuse that we don't have.
yes. No, I've been knocked unconscious twice. Once in wrestling, once in football, so
Nice.
Oh man, I want to grab this B-roll footage of JC talking about random injuries and like keep it as the intro to the recorded version of this episode.
oh yeah, that's
So you have
Sure,
lots
why
of
not?
experience with writing characters who have head injuries.
yeah, I do.
So worth it then, right? Getting knocked
Yeah.
out.
Well, should we?
Yeah, I was about to say it's about that.
6:59.
Just wait in awkward silence here for another
Yeah.
37
30
seconds.
seconds.
Do you have a countdown?
I don't know what it's gonna do. Let me hit the button. Let's find out.
Oh, it's 7.
Yep.
All right.
Hold on.
Seems like-
Hold on. I don't think it's recording
I
yet.
want you to do it right now.
I hit the button, but it didn't do anything. Okay, I think we're
Sweet.
recording now. Go ahead.
All right. Fingers
Awesome.
crossed that we are in fact recording. All right, welcome guys. If you haven't yet figured out, you have stumbled across a live recording of a podcast. Welcome to Third Person POV, a writers group. This is in fact our first live taping of an episode, so welcome all. Don't expect too much of us. I hope and pray, fingers crossed, there are no heavy technical difficulties, which may be occurring now. Maybe you can't even hear me talking and just like, who is this good-looking man talking to me? At any rate, maybe we should introduce ourselves. The good-looking man that you see in front of you. My name is Gray Alder. That's my pretentious pen name. I am currently an unpublished fantasy writer. This is my first time really consistently going with the writing group for a decent period of time. And I've just been workshopping my stuff alongside these two gentlemen here, kicking my butt in the best possible way to get my stuff out into the world. Also with me, we have our fantastic co-hosts in order of experience and beard length. We have next Tyler Hess.
Oh, we're
is,
we're going in ascending order, not descending order.
I didn't want to do height order or youth to oldest, but I guess either way,
Either way, yeah.
it would have been too far out of sequence. No offense, JC. So yes, next in terms of beauty, we have Tyler Hess. A little further along in his publishing journey. Tyler's kind of our resident technician for the night, so if he looks distracted, that is not him checking his phone for updates on the latest episode of Jersey Shore. That is him solving problems. Can virtually clap for him right now, or leave a comment encouraging him that you are in fact watching this.
I'm
Tyler
also
is
I'm
currently
also
in the process-
sick,
Oh, go ahead.
so if I pass out, you know why.
That would be kind of entertaining. I think that would definitely help us.
Spice things up.
Yeah. Do you want to give a brief intro, Tyler, or do you want me to just kind of keep saying random things about you?
Oh, I love you saying random things about me, Greg. Keep going.
Just trying to butter you up. Yeah, I would say that Tyler's kind of he is currently unpublished, but he is looking to change that real quick here. He's in the beta reader process right now, getting feedback, working on his draft. And in addition to that, he's also a resident editor. So he wears a couple of different hats here. If you were looking to hire an editor, my understanding is you do copy edits as well as you're getting into the dev side of things.
Mhm.
Yeah, Tyler's your guy for that. Maybe we can post our intro or our info in the chat or something like that.
Oh yeah,
later,
check
but-
out my website, hesstylerblog.com. I should really rename it because it's very bland, but it has all my info. It has some short story snippets, some articles I've written about writing, and also has my editing services stuff.
So much good stuff there, honestly. His articles on writing are really solid, which I assume is what you guys are here for. So I'll also throw out visit Gray Alder Books, Gray with an E, grayalderbooks.com, and you can get some free short stories from me and not much else at the moment. Okay, and then last but not least, drum roll, please, virtual drum roll. We have JC Bybee, the one, the only, our bearded Gandalf of the group, not just in terms of experience, but also actual publishing experience. So JC currently has 8 books out in the world right now. He is a fantasy and superhero author, fantasy and sci-fi. How would you characterize that?
I mean, technically, superheroes are classified as fantasy, I learned, so I'm technically
What?
just a fantasy author. I say sci-fi fantasy, though, because mine doesn't fit in fantasy in my mind. So,
Okay, just gonna get. I feel like we have to name off our micro genres. Like I am a cozy bromance mystery grimdark writer. I was gonna say furry, but that would be a disservice to all of us.
yeah.
Then I'm
So JC is
contemporary.
also working on getting a couple more books out there real quick here. Starting May 15th, you can pick up 2 additional books by JC, the names of which I have already forgotten the names of. If you want to enlighten us, JC.
Technomancer, which is the second book in my Collinsworth Case Files series, and The Phantom Thief, which is the third book in my Telvana Mysteries series.
Yeah, JC casts a wide net when it comes to genre, so don't sleep on that. And then speaking of May 15th, in addition to being D-Day for JC Bybee dropping a couple of novels on us, that's also a huge milestone for our podcast, as we are going to be doing yet another live event in person at Gem State Comic Con in Boise, Idaho. Garden City, Idaho, but who knows? Who cares about that? So May 15th at Gem State Comic Con. If you are in the Treasure Valley area of Idaho, we would love to have you there. That Q&A panel and live demonstration is happening at 4 p.m. So one of the first events of Comic Con. Be there or be square. And then I figured it'd be kind of useful to actually know what we're doing here, what a writers group is. Might be nice to break that down Barney style. Would you care to explain that for us, JC?
Sure. So one of the most important things you can do as a writer is prior to or during the process even of writing something is getting feedback and critiques. The idea of a writers group is you get a group of writers, either aspiring professionals or professionals, to come together and give you that feedback prior to getting an editor, prior to going through the beta reader process. As you're going through, that way you can refine your story as much as possible prior to getting a professional to look at it, and prior to getting semi-random people through the beta readers to give you feedback before it's complete. It helps you catch out the errors that you just make, because even if you're the best outliner in the world, you're going to have continuity errors, you're going to have mistakes, and your writers group is there to catch those mistakes. The important thing to remember with a writers group is feedback comes in 2 forms. There is the constructive criticism. You need to work on this. This is something this is something you probably should change. And then there's the positive, uplifting constructive feedback of, I really like this idea. I really like where this story is going. I like your world building. You have to balance the 2. I have an unfortunate experience with this. I had a friend who I had read one of my earliest books, which nobody will ever see because it is hidden away.
Let's become a
and
Patreon member.
Yeah, not even then. That was not seeing
Not
the light
even
of
for
day. Not even for money. And she had received advice slash critiquing advice from someone. I don't even remember the whole context of it. And he basically took something that she'd written and ripped it apart without much in the way of positive. And he basically said, this is how you critique someone. You tear their stuff apart. And it's like, and then she took mine and applied that, and it was bad. Like I knew it needed work, but there was nothing that countered the negative. And it made it really hard to accept any of her feedback. Because I became very defensive very quickly because none of the comments focused on what she liked, focused on the positives. So while I'm reading the critique pieces that the writers group, Tyler and Gray, give me, and I'm looking for things that I like on top of things that stand out as maybe this doesn't work. Maybe you want to consider this. And above all, it's not my piece. I'm not trying to rewrite Tyler's book. I'm not trying to rewrite Gray's book. I am saying this is what stood out to me as potentially needing changes or potentially rewording. You can take all of the feedback that your writers group gives you and throw it out the window if you want. And I would advise against that. I will be honest with you, because these guys know what they're talking about. And when they give me feedback, or when I give them feedback, hopefully, it is something that it gives them something to think about and something to consider as we're working forward to making the best story possible. My job as a critique member is to make Tyler the best version of Tyler that he can, and to make Gray the best version of Gray that he can be. And they're going to try to do the same thing for me. And as you learn each other's styles, you will be able to give more and more specific critique, more and more specific feedback. So when people actually read your book, it doesn't sound like 6 people have tried to write one book.
Like a
Instead,
Hollywood
it sounds, yeah, like some of the, especially some of the more recent ones that are written by committee. And even if everybody on that committee has a joint vision, they're different people. And so I don't want to change Tyler's writing quirks unless it's so horrendously bad that it has to be changed. But he doesn't have that. Neither does Gray. Gray has a certain voice and a certain prose, and I like his prose. I will occasionally catch it where it slips, and that's what we help him. We help him pick up where it slips. I mean, we all have our little quirks. If you've watched any of our other episodes, you've heard us mention them. And the important thing is I'm trying to build them up and make them better, not just say this is everything that needs to be fixed.
And on the flip side of that, you also don't want to have like 100% positive feedback. You don't want your mom coming and being like, oh, it's perfect, don't change a thing, because it's absolutely never going to be perfect, and there will always be things to change, even after it's published. JC, I know you've talked about going back to your old books that are already published and wanting to change them. I think even one of your books you did a second edition because you wanted to change certain things. Gosh dang.
The first
I thought you were
4
saying
books
there's
in
a
the
4th edition.
No, the first 4 books in the Hero Unit series all got a second edition.
Dang.
Because
Nice.
one, I got better grammar software. And 2, I had written, I think I had just finished the 5th Hero Unit book. I had written 3 others. And so I just knew more, especially with Hero Unit, my first book. I'll be the first to admit it's rough. Like, the first page is always my this is how not to do world building example, is how I do it in this very first page of Hero Unit. And I kept it that way because I like using that as an example and saying, look, this is a mistake you want to avoid. So,
And JC, I wouldn't be too tough on yourself. I would say that's fairly common. Larry Correa, the writer of Monster Hunter International, has this saying of his that this is the only industry in which all of your effort and your prestige in your career are judged on your rookie season. You know, like the first book that you came out with, because
Yep.
that's kind of the gateway to a lot of what other readers are going to be reading, especially if it's a series. So
Yeah.
take some kahunas to go back and do an author edition of your first book and make it what it could be. You know, polish it. But
Yeah.
Should we give some advice for how to find / pick your writers group? I know we were kind of
that's a good
almost
idea.
accidental.
We were really lucky.
yeah, I think that would be super helpful.
Yeah, so I've actually been in 2 writers groups now, and I formed my first one in Iowa when I lived there. 2 people that were writers that weren't necessarily aspiring to publication, so it was a little bit different approach. And then this one, these guys invited me into. We met at a writers conference. They were in at least one of the classes I taught. You were in my world building class, both of you, I think.
So good.
Yes. And so afterwards, as we were kind of going to the closing ceremonies of the writers group, as we were in line waiting to get in, they asked, and we worked it out from there. So the big thing is, how I find writers groups is I try to find like-minded individuals, whether that's writers conferences, I would say internet forums, that those have kind of gone the way of the dodo. Another place you could go, it might be intimidating to some people, but your friendly local gaming shop. Most towns have one that's somewhere close by. You'll find people that are interested in writing that play tabletop role-playing games.
I don't know if that
What do
would
you
work
guys
for
think?
romance writers, but I'm sure
I
there's an
mean-
equivalent.
There's something.
Yeah, there's always chances to network and meet people.
Yeah.
You definitely want to be the dumbest person in your writing group. That's really helpful when you're writing group.
You do want to be?
You do want to be the dumbest person because
Oh,
then
so you can find
Oh,
smart
sweet, I got it.
no, I got it.
people.
So that then you're being lifted up. You know, there's the saying you're the average of your 5 best friends or something like that. And so when your writing group is full of intelligent, good writers, they're going to be lifting you up and helping you become a better writer. So be okay with being the least accomplished in your writing group.
Yeah, definitely.
I think there's, even in a writing group, there's a sense of imposter syndrome sometimes. I mean, gosh, let alone when we're taping our episodes like this, like being so vulnerable to this. But like, I'm definitely not an editor, and I do not have 8 books on the market right now. But I can learn how to get my books out there, and I can learn from an editor, certainly. Bet your bottom. So super
Yep.
helpful.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say take your ego and throw it out the window if you're going to be in a writer's group.
That's a
because
big thing.
Your ego is only going to get in the way. I mean, yeah, if there's a part of your book that you really, really want to keep, but everybody hates, I mean, you can still keep it. But if everybody's saying this needs to change, maybe it needs to change.
Yeah, still your
It's-
book, still your decisions. You are the executor of your own estate at this point. But
Yep.
it's good to listen. Good to think about.
Yeah, especially in the world as the market tends to shift towards indie publishing, and there are less gatekeepers, for good and for bad. There are less people standing in the way of you saying, "I will get this book out into the world," and you can certainly do that and just hit send on Amazon and see what happens. But when you have people here that are able to make your art, your product better before you put it out, you definitely take advantage of those. It's like having a second opinion from Dr. JC here. Do we have a can of Dr. Pepper or something? Do we have a sponsor for tonight, unofficial? Will we get sued by somebody if we hold up a can of Dr. Pepper?
We might.
Oh, anyway,
I don't think we have anything tonight.
shall we get to the meat of our presentation and open up all the boxes of tissues for all the tears we're going to be crying? as we
Yes,
rip into
great.
each
Let's
other's
get to the meat. We love getting to the meat.
Not again.
Has that episode aired yet?
No.
Gosh.
Anyway, that is
So
going to be
I
an
believe-
inside joke for the rest of our podcast.
Which is great. You know, we don't
Yeah.
hate each other when we have inside jokes that make us sweat uncomfortably while we're Segue. Speaking of being uncomfortable, JC, I think we are critiquing your piece first,
Yes, sir.
and it looks like our very own Tyler Hess is up to bat first with critiquing JC's piece. However, do you want to give us some context on
Sure.
what it is we're going to be talking about?
Sure. So the piece tonight is from my Patreon exclusive story called Midnight in the City. It is a cyberpunk series with cosmic horror. So those that don't know what cosmic horror is, if you've ever heard of the writer H.P. Lovecraft, he sort of is the father of cosmic horror. Cthulhu, things out of time, things that make you go insane. So I can't just write in one genre, apparently. So, like I said, it's cyberpunk with cosmic horror. And it's just the very beginning of the story where you meet the main character, Midnight, and a little bit about the world.
A little bit about the world, yeah. And what a world it is. As always, JC, great world building. It felt like a real place. It felt like, it felt really gritty, which is definitely what you're going for. We have this underworld interaction. We have someone to get killed on the street, and there's monsters and other stuff obviously going on. So kudos for that, as always. You're trying to do the Brandon Sanderson thing where you have like your fantasy swear, which I appreciate. And I didn't do any research on this, so just take this for what it is. Your word slash, it's too sibilant. It's not a hard enough word to be profanity, in my opinion. It took a second.
That.
Yeah, it took a second for me to understand what you're doing. There was one line in particular where it was like, is this somebody's name? Like, are they addressing somebody?
Oh,
you
same
remember
thing.
what I'm
I
talking
stumbled
about?
over that line.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, with profanity, like, especially with the word that you're replacing with slash, it's a very hard word. And this may be different for other languages, but in English, because we have kind of our big swear word, which we don't say on this podcast because we want our families to be able to watch this podcast, and I don't think we swear too much in real life. But it's a very hard word. It has the I'm forgetting the word for what the sound is, but the k sound, or another word, the t at the end. And not saying that it has to be at the start of the word, because Brandon Sanderson in Stormlight, I think they're storms. Yeah. And I think Jim Butcher in Codex Alera. Crows. Yeah. Are you reading that right now, Gray?
Oh, it's so good. I'm reading that right now.
Awesome. I know we recommended that to you. Yeah. So there's these hard sounds in it, and this is a very technical thing. Not really a technical thing, but this is a very small micro critique of your thing.
Yeah.
But just something to think about. And I don't know if you're like attached to the word, or if you're attached to the or what you're trying to say with the word, because obviously like storms very much fits with the world. Crows definitely as well. So maybe think about that. Think about a different word you could do. We have the one guy who dies, Spike, and I don't know how he dies, and I want to know how he dies. I know that Midnight does something, and it's probably really cool and very violent, but I don't know what it is. So whether she's got some kind of magic or she's just throwing a knife or something, I want to know what it is. You sometimes have this problem with white space syndrome, and that's kind of part of it. Like don't hold back. Well, hold back. I know it's violent and it's somebody dying, so don't get too graphic with it, and I know you won't.
Yes.
But don't hold back from at least telling your reader what happens, because I want to know what happened with that fight. Seems like for these underworld shady characters, there's a lot of trust going on. They make the exchange before Ben actually checks to see whether or not the chip has the data he needs on it. That would have been like one line. He tapped it against his. It seemed like they have a bunch of cybernetic stuff ingrained in their body. So if he just tapped it against his wrist or something and just read it fast, that would be one line. Trust but verify. And then the one gang leader, he just gives Midnight like an advance, which is probably more of a thing with somebody like Midnight. But I would also think about that. She seems like this hit person, contractor type who probably has a reputation for being trusted with things like this. But that's another thing. Like they should make a comment or internal dialogue pointing out that they know that Midnight's not gonna take the money and jet on them. And then last but not least, I want to know more about this dog. So I hope that's something you describe more as we go along.
I pictured like a shadow dog, but I don't know if I'm just drawing that from my imagination or from descriptors that you had in there.
Yeah.
Cool. That's it for you then, Tyler?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, it's kind of as an aside to our audience here, usually our pieces that we submit each week are a little bit longer. And we also gave ourselves a bit of a challenge this week in that our pieces are not in the series we've been writing in necessarily, or they're not like just chapter 2 of the chapter 1 that we submitted last week. So we're all kind of getting surprised this week as we read each other's pieces, which is a nice little bit of a change here. Okay, JC, are you ready for it?
Sure.
I really enjoyed this piece, especially the opening. I feel, first of all, that first line, night was never safe in the city. It didn't matter where the security forces offered or what slogans politicians vomited out. That was all beautiful. That kind of sets the scene for this kind of seedy, hard-boiled detective inner monologue. I mean, but not. So it's kind of funny that you're playing with a genre trope in a sense, which I love. A little bit comic booky too, in the best possible way. Let's see. I just had a bunch of like, ooh, that's cool. Ooh, I like this line. Oh, want to steal that. So let me not butter you up too much here. Oh, one thing that I have to call specific attention to. So in this piece, of course, you have this fish out of water character who's kind of navigating the dark underbelly of the city. And when he walks down an alley, he says clean alleys were more dangerous than dirty ones. And he says that because he doesn't see any trash cans or trash lining the street. And I feel like with a lesser author, me, in navigating this kind of area, trash and refuse would be a very easy way to indicate, decay, both moral and physical. And the lack of it here is interesting, and that's what's dangerous. And you don't tell us why initially, which I really like. That's cool. I must agree that the term slash or slashin' does feel a bit like kind of 90s, early 2000s Batman Beyond. Yeah, I know it's a very specific reference point, but yeah, I'm just slagged, bro. So I don't necessarily mind it. I just it was used often, and I think that's when I started. My brain was called to attention on that fact. Let's see. A couple other little things here and there. Your description of, is it Slash or Spike? A tall, thin, bald man with nano tattoos. There's that saying, which is that when you use a bunch of descriptors or adjectives together in a sentence, that 1 + 1 = 1/2 instead of equaling 2, which is to say that more adjectives isn't always necessarily better when you string them together like that, because your brain has to stop and parse out each specific adjective as you're reading. And I like the fact that he's tall, thin, and bald, and you're giving us this physical description. I don't know if there's a better way to sprinkle those details throughout that paragraph that might work a little better in that respect. Yeah, you have this kind of schema going on with some of your adjectives, like crawling. Let's see. There's another one like that. Oh, swarming. All of that kind of just subconsciously brings to mind images of insects and slithering things, which I really appreciate. Highlighted a couple instances, though, where we really got crazy with skin crawling, though, in particular. And give you a chance to go back and see those with my obnoxious highlighting on your document. I love that the fish out of water character knows that he's fish out of water, and that his voice cracks, and he's aware that his voice is cracking, which makes it even worse. And you use the word, I think, prepubescent or pubescent, and I'm like, that's just all his manhood is gone. His man card has been taken as he enters this dark alley. I won't get into too many spoilers regarding what happens, but yeah, again, when Midnight is introduced, I don't think we're ever given a physical description of this character. Well, we are given the fact that she's tall a little bit later on, which is nice, but I was kind of left to my own devices with that. Yeah, overall, solid piece. I highlighted some things here and there that were a little bit weird, might need some tweaking, and some additional kudos. No need to go through all of them, or we'd be here all day. Yeah, great piece overall. Do you have any questions for us?
So this is a sort of a general thing that just popped into my head. How long do you guys think a writer can wait before they give a description of the main character? Like, how quickly do we need it?
I think with your thing,
In your guys' opinion.
yeah. I think with your thing, because you're starting off with someone else's POV, and I did the same thing with my book, you guys remember, and that makes it really easy to just do it immediately. So
Yeah.
for this, I would do it pretty fast. In general, for me, physical description is the least important part of characterization. So as long as they get like a couple details pretty soon still, just to kind of base off their mental image, you'll be safe.
Okay.
Yeah, I think with Midnight in particular, you imply how dangerous she is, and so I'm kind of picturing someone, who looks dangerous, who looks capable, but I wanted to kind of fill in some of those blanks. Like, is she lean? Is she really built? Why is she physically imposing other than the tallness? Is that why? Is that part of the danger factor? In general, though, I do tend to appreciate getting a little bit of a description early on. Otherwise, either I don't picture that character at all and they're just kind of a nameless voice, or I start just, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, but filling in my actor of choice. I guess I do that regardless. But
Yeah, I do the same thing. So
And I will say, because of her name and then her moniker, I did kind of have an idea for how she dresses, at least probably the color of her hair. I'm guessing she's very dark
black hair.
black hair. That's what I would be guessing. So I think you did manage to sneak in some things without directly doing it. But
okay.
one more thing I'd like to add, and I ran into this with my book, because we're both starting off in different POVs. It is important that we make it clear pretty straight off who the main character is. Because I know you, because I know who your protagonists usually are, I figured it was Midnight and not Ben, the corpse slave.
Right.
But going forward with this, you definitely want to stick with her for a minute, which you probably will anyway. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Ben as the POV here in this section to give us a sense of how dangerous the world feels as compared with his level of inexperience. So,
Right.
yeah,
but yeah, depends where the story's going.
Yeah. Like, it's sort of like it's actually a lot of like what Tyler did with his book with the Hounds of Brecken, and how we get this character who is a fish out of water. Like your POV character at the beginning thinks he fits in, but he's a fish out of water. My guy knows he's a fish out of water, and it's walking that line of world building through a character we're never going to see again.
yeah.
So,
Which I think is a good way to do it.
yeah, I mean, especially for this world with how truly dangerous the world that I'm setting up is, in ways that are unexpected. Like, there's a physical danger. Like, you got guys with knives and guns and cybernetic enhancements who are gonna, try to kill you. But there are other dangers involved with it that are a lot harder to define and a lot harder to understand. So I'm trying to emphasize that through this terrified character's POV.
Yeah. Really good stuff.
All right,
Very good.
thank you.
Was it me next, or do you have any other things
is
you want to
in
talk about,
fact
JC?
Yeah. No, I'm good.
'Kay.
I got it.
So my piece for this week, I titled it Reaper, working title. We're introduced really quickly to the main character, Mark, who has a big old scythe and he's fighting ghosts, as Grim Reapers do. I don't know if it came across in the big, but he is like a teenager. He is pretty young. Definitely kind of like a rookie Reaper. He has a mentor figure who he talks to throughout this piece. Didn't manage to put a lot of world building into there. It is like the world. Like I write mostly contemporary fantasy, you guys know, so I don't have to spend maybe as much time world building as you guys do. But yeah, he's a Reaper. He's not killing ghosts, but he's doing something to ghosts because you can't kill ghosts again. Presumably, he's busting them.
Yeah.
There we go.
Makes him feel good.
And then there's a little bit at the end of the section I gave you guys where he has a gravestone, which is weird.
Yeah.
And will be answered in later sections if I continue. This is kind of what I'm thinking of my next series. So whenever I'm able to get to it, then questions will be answered. Basically, that's kind of my context for this week's.
Gotcha.
Fair enough. I think JC is up first to
Yep. So, first off, if this is what you want to do for your next series, please do. Like, this is an intriguing start. I don't know if you've ever heard of or read the manga Soul Eater. It gives me Soul Eater vibes.
Okay.
And if you ever get a chance to just grab the first one and read it, mild content warning, if I'm remembering. It's been a long time since I've read it. But it has that vibe, and it's really, I like the way you're going with it. I didn't 100% pick up teenager with him. I will say. I was thinking like 20-ish. So not quite full-blown adult, but still not quite teenager. So let's see here. Couple of when he taps his scythe on the asphalt, my question was, is that like, because he taps it and the ghosts react, and is that a power or is that just them reacting to the weapon? So that was a question that I had. I think you might want to make it a little bit more specific in that instance. I like how you described the ghosts, the weight of them being slippery, the slippery weight of the ghosts on his back. I liked that.
Totally agree with that. Love that.
Yeah. And you get another chance to question what I've done in my life. Yes, fighting with a scythe, an actual grain scythe, is really hard. It is completely counterintuitive. It is very difficult to manage. I think, this is a think, and it could be my migraine brain getting the better of me. There are such thing as war scythes that are sharpened on the top edge, which gives you more range and ability with it. So, but again, a scythe, very difficult weapon to fight with, because it's not a polearm, it's not a sword, it's not an axe. It's very different. So I like that you pointed that out. So I was going to comment when he first starts fighting with it. I'm like, this is going to be difficult to use. But then I kept reading and I was like, okay, he knows. He picked it up.
He struggles.
Awesome. Yeah, he struggles with that. It wouldn't be easy. And maybe, just to throw something out there at you, part of his training and part of his development is he learns how to use the scythe. So instead of it being a single edge, it starts getting other things that make it easier to use and more effective as a weapon as he learns it, as he trains with it.
Yeah.
But that's just, you still got to finish your other series first. So,
You haven't eaten all of your broccoli yet.
I like the idea of being able to store the weapons in the shadow, but you also have to have a shadow big enough to store the weapon. I like that. I thought that was a cool trick to the magic. Let's see here. The walk and talk, I will say, I didn't comment, again, because I was late on doing these, so I was frantically trying to get something. I will say the walk and talk might need just a little bit of, at the end, continuation of motion. He says, let's walk and talk, so it sets it off. They are moving. And then just giving that one last little, as they go down the street, something like that. I like the descriptions of the ghosts. I can sympathize with not understanding the reference, thinking back to my Neverending Story reference from one of our episodes. You guys not getting it? So it feels like you have the beginning of a very interesting story. And technical things aside, I mean, again, this is what, first draft, very first thing?
Very much so the first draft.
You just threw this down? Yeah. For something that you just threw on the page and haven't like read through obsessively 7 or 8 or 9 times, really well done. Really interesting world. nail down some of the details. Make sure you understand how the system works, how the
Mhm.
Reapers work, how they interact, how the ghosts work, how the crossing over works, and you've got a solid beginning of something I would be very interested in reading. So,
Awesome.
kudos to you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Hmm.
Sweet. Well, I agree with much of what JC had to say. The similarities do not end there. You and JC are getting a little too good at these opening one-liners that set the tone for the piece. It was a good day to kill some dead guys. Such a good line.
Probably kind of corny, but
No, it was like the perfect amount of corny.
thanks.
Yeah, enough cheese on that popcorn. Oh man. Also, the fact that both of these are taking place in alleyways, apparently are just dangerous places to be. Well, yeah. I thought the piece was really good overall. I really got into it initially, and I tried to avoid making the mistake I made with JC, as I often read his pieces first, and he gets like comment vomit on his pieces. Every little line, I'm like, "Ooh, I like this. Ooh, I love this. Ooh, I hate that." So the first comment I have is just, the slippery weight of the ghost. I could feel it just sliding off like a slug or something. You know, the ectoplasm or whatever it is. I like the fact that you never use that word. I like the fact that how cinematic this piece feels. We're thrown right into the middle of a fight. We are not given a paragraph of chunky exposition at the beginning, like Mark had only just now realized that he was a disembodied something or other and was now locked in mortal combat with ghosts ever since his parents didn't love him as a child. Yeah, so none of that. With great power comes great writing. And I think that's just something that you excel at in general. So it's carried on here even in the short piece. Initially, when he sustains a wound to his side, I was a little confused because these aren't physical essences, these spirits that he's fighting. But then, like, the very next sentence after I put my comment, you kind of explain how that transpires. So I feel like that's a fair amount of time to raise the question in the head of the reader and then almost immediately answer it. So that's cool. I love the practical evaluation of the scythe as a weapon, and I'm curious, did you do research for that, or did you just think about it?
I feel like it's something I've known. I don't know if I've ever done like research, but like I've heard people talking about it. I've held a scythe before, just kind of. And I feel like it is kind of a trope where, like, especially like in anime, like probably in the Soul Eater one that you're talking about, JC. I bet they use scythes really well. It's not super realistic. So
I actually love that it did set up this expectation for me. Maybe this is a genre trope of that kind of fantasy character that is given this ability that's kind of sucky and like D class, and yet somehow finds a loophole or a method to make it really awesome and like S class. And I'm even speaking in anime terms. And you compare that because right away you have this other dude show up with a sawed-off shotgun, and he seems so much more effective at what he's doing. Obviously, he has more experience. He's the grizzled veteran. But that comparison that happens right after that, or to close out the fight, I really enjoy. Shows us the limitations of the weapon. When Jake makes that line, "We don't choose our weapons, we just use them." That felt like a cool line that explains so much and nothing at all, which, again, it just continues to raise questions that I find enjoyable, that makes me want to keep reading. I was a little bit confused, admittedly, about the mechanics of putting the weapon back into the shadow as like a storage system. I had to reread that paragraph at least once. I like the idea, though, if that's what's happening. Overall, just a really enjoyable piece, and I would, in fact, be looking forward to reading this series.
Yep.
Any questions for us?
Not really. You guys want to know more about the mechanics of anything? I'm happy to explain.
How much of this do you have planned out?
So I planned this all out like my sophomore year of high school. I had to find the notebook actually that I had it all outlined in, because I knew that I had this idea, but I couldn't remember all the particulars. So with these Reapers, they're actually people who have died, but in the area that they had died, there were too many dead people, so they got like their spirits got like squished back into their bodies. Does that make any kind of sense?
Yes. You're rejected.
So they
Yeah.
they were like rejected by limbo or whatever, wherever souls go
Right.
after they die in this world, and then they kind of come back with these. I was watching Bleach. I don't know if you guys have ever watched Bleach, but
Yep.
while I was
Yeah.
Actually, I haven't.
it's pretty good.
It's a good one.
But I was like very into Bleach at the time I was planning this out back in high school, and the spiritual
makes a
energy
lot of
aspect
sense.
of Bleach kind of made its way into it, and yeah.
He's over 9,000.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Knowing that you were into Bleach when you came up with this, yeah, it makes perfect sense now.
Yeah.
I feel like it's this is it's not the whole this Avenger in the afterlife has to fight ghosts and demons or whatever entities isn't like on its face the most original concept. I think it's all about the execution and who your who your readership is, this young adult category. I feel like this could really work.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes,
I don't think that's
definitely.
an original idea at all. It's just something I was
And that's
interested in.
I mean that's one of the things I would like to address that to any of our listeners. No, your idea is not original. Live with
I'm
it.
a special snowflake though.
Yeah. I mean, live with it. Live with the fact that your idea is not original. How you are approaching the idea, though, is. Every story's been told is a line I've heard many authors say, but your version of that story hasn't been told. How are you going to make it yours? How are you going to make it different? And yeah, I mean, we pointed out 2 anime/manga that echo this piece that Tyler has written, and yet it wasn't either of those things. You can
It's
see
a
it.
Tyler Hess piece. Like it feels
Yes.
like that. And I know you guys haven't read Tyler's stuff yet. You haven't had that benefit, but this feels really consistent with where I feel like he's
Yeah.
I don't know, his readership and what he's going for, the tone and the voice. That's not like
Yeah.
a clone of his other series, obviously, but it's got that stamp of quality.
Yeah. And that's what you're striving for as a writer is when I pick up a Tyler Hess piece, I know it. Not because he uses the same lines, not because he uses the same dialogue, not because he uses the same characters, but because I know his writing really well and he keeps a consistent style, a consistent prose, and brings a consistent voice to what he's writing. So
Yep.
that's my thoughts.
Which is all to say, do better, Tyler. We hated it.
Okay, I'll try. Awesome.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
thanks, guys.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Your Honor, if there are no further questions, I think we can proceed to the end of the episode and wish everyone a
No.
great
No.
night. Thank you
Good
guys so
night,
much for
everyone.
No.
coming.
We got this piece
looks
over here
like-
called The Pit.
Yeah, the pits of despair. Man, I don't know if that was the right piece or not. This challenge that we gave ourselves to write 1,000 words or less, which most of us abided by. It was super challenging. Like
It is
flash
hard.
fiction is not easy to write. So this piece falls into that category. It's a I guess dark fantasy piece. It's set within the same world as my other book that I'm working on, hopefully in a series, which is kind of has a tribal feel to it. So this story takes place within the context of a tribal village on the outskirts, as a blind child and his brother realize that there are these raiders that are about to enter their village and just start wreaking havoc and committing murders and other atrocities. And it's filtered through the lens of that child, who's currently employed in feeding a massive blob creature that's half buried out in the field, feeding the trash of the village. And this kid has to figure out a way to hopefully protect some of the people that he loves, or at least escape and live. Whether or not you guys got that from that piece is another question. So I think JC is my Grim Reaper up to bat first.
I think so. Or is it Tyler up first? I don't remember.
Great, you wrote this
No,
down.
Tyler
didn't you?
went first on. Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. Okay, I'm going to start us off because I have it up and I read it quickly, but I read it. Couple of word choice things. Let me rephrase that. First off, I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was a good piece. It fit the world that I am familiar with of the Arias Forest. It it worked in with the other pieces that we've read from this setting. Again, one of those things that it's more a feel than a hard and fast rule where you say his eyes are clouded. I knew what you were saying, but when you wrote that, my mind immediately aged him by about 60 years.
Oh.
Because so many times in fantasy, eyes being clouded is a reference to aging. And so to me, I read through it and I was like, oh, his eyes were injured. And so he can't see. Yes, they're cloudy. That happens when eyes are injured. But I would change that just in case. If you want to keep it, go ahead. But that's just something to consider. That the word choice, while appropriate, while it fits, can, depending on what your readers are used to, what they've read before, what they've experienced, can give a different perception.
So maybe make it more explicit that he's blind.
Yeah.
In the way he was blinded, maybe. I'm imagining burning pokers or something from the Raiders, and he'll also have like scars around his eyes in that case. But however you imagine him being blinded.
Yeah. But then you give us two lines that there are two lines of dialogue that are two lines, a dialogue and then a sentence that says a whole lot about the situation. So we will have nothing to trade with these men. The silence in the direction of the village deepened. You set up everything right there in two lines. So good on you on that. You set up a lot of promise and you give us the payoff throughout this piece. Again, another word choice, gazelle. For me, having read lots of your stuff so far, felt out of place for this particular, like, you can have gazelles, don't get me wrong, it just felt out of place for this particular part of the world. I like that the village, especially with the other tribes that we've encountered in this forest, the village didn't just outcast him immediately because he was frail and blind, so they gave him a job. I like that. And there's a couple of rules of the monster I'm still kind of, because you talk about you can't, you've got to be careful around it, but they dig it up to move it. So it felt, and I mean, Tyler might contradict me, other people might contradict. It felt kind of contradictory in that moment, that you don't want to make a bunch of noise near it, stomp around near it, but you have to dig it up to move it. Something to consider. And the one thing I saw where it was going because I'm a writer and my brain does that. I saw what you were doing. I liked what you were doing. Don't get me wrong. It works really well. It's a good setup. It's a good payoff. It follows really well. My only question is, why did he break that one rule? Why did he choose? He chose to feed it something he was explicitly parts. Yeah, he was explicitly said you never feed him.
Oh shoot, did I not explain
body
that?
part? No, and you say it. You say that he's not supposed to do that, and then you say he specifically broke that rule to feed it body parts. He chose to do that, but you never say why. And that is the one thing, like, the rest of it I liked really well, but that was the first time I got to a piece or got to a sentence and I was like, why did he do that? Like, I liked the payoff of him doing that, and I expected the payoff of him doing that, but I don't have a why, a motivation. Because it sounds like it's really dangerous for him to do that, and it is very clearly really dangerous for him to do that. So a why would go a long way on that. And it doesn't have to be much. But that's all otherwise I like this piece. I mean, yeah, I don't know how you're going to include this into your book or your series, but I hope it gets dropped in somewhere. At least this concept of the blorbs, which is a fun name, by the way.
I was hoping that would be a decent shorthand to imply what kind of monster it is. Well,
Yes.
with all the adjectives, but
Yeah.
cool.
No.
Yeah, appreciate
Tyler?
Yeah.
Yep.
Very similar to what I said for JC. It feels like a real world. You know, you spend a lot of time in this world and you understand it really well, and that comes across in your writing. The dynamic between the tribes feels very realistic for this kind of area where, you know, they have to pay another tribe to protect them, and if they can't do that, then they're going to get attacked, and bad stuff is going to happen. The older brother really had some really realistic dialogue. I don't have it in front of me because if I pull it up, I'm going to mess up with the video. But where he was, kind of protecting your main character while he wasn't sharing everything, but we could read between the lines and we kind of knew exactly what was going on. That was really, really good. For having a blind POV character, you had too many visual descriptions. That was something that I would really want you to focus more on the other senses. Yes, great, including taste, but just cut any kind of visual descriptions. Like you described the brick village, the patchwork of the brick village. He's not going to know it's a patchwork. He'll know how the houses feel. So maybe you could include like a remembered texture, sensory detail, or something like that. But just make sure that you're in the head of a blind person right now, and someone who's been blind since, I don't know how old they were when they were blind, but since they were a small child. So a lot of their experience will be not being able to see, and they're not going to have these visual details come to mind as they're thinking about everything. His plan at the end felt a little bit weird to me, mostly because it doesn't seem like these blorbs are really good for defense. It seemed more like a plan that would be good if he was trying to get rid of a dead body. Like if he was planning on murdering somebody and covering it up. It was used as defense, but after it felt like everyone that mattered to him had already been killed. So it didn't really work as defense. But does that make sense? Do you know what I'm trying to say there? Like it felt more ominous than somebody who's trying to save their village. It felt like someone who was trying to make it so that they could kill somebody and get away with it after they've been grave robbing. Which, really cool detail, but
yeah,
it didn't feel quite. It felt a little bit out of place to me. Yeah,
Cool.
That's what I've got.
Yeah, it's crazy. I appreciate that. It's crazy how that one line, what would probably be a line of exposition earlier on that JC pointed out was missing, like his motivation for feeding it earlier, takes the whole thing out of whack as to why he has this elaborate plan. I was gonna have something, and this might still be weak sauce in terms of a motivation, but him kind of realizing how vulnerable he is in the world that he lives in and how prone they are to potential incidents like this, to where the kid's like, well, I can do something, and like, what does the kid do? It starts feeding it in the off chance that he can kind of use this thing as a last defense. That may still be weak sauce. Actually, as you were talking, Tyler, you're like, this is kind of, it looks like he's trying to get away with, murder. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
And maybe that's a direction you could go.
I don't know. Yeah, just throwing this out here in the version that it's in right now. Yeah, I agree with the sensory details, how they're visual. I think that was kind of a cheat way to breeze through a 1,000-word piece in as little words as possible without describing like the texture of the bricks and things like that. And I think I have every intention of expanding this thing. I don't think it's going to stay at 1,000 if I decide to play with it again. So that's helpful to know, though, that was kind of jarring, like in terms of perspective.
And thinking about how old is this kid? Your main character. How old do you
Did I not spell that out either? Gosh, I am just
He's
awful.
young.
I think I thought he was young for sure.
Young.
He's like 7 or something like that.
He's set. Okay, I thought he was older than that.
So you get away with in my opinion, again, I have two very imaginative little boys, and I remember their plans when they were 7 years old. You get away with this idea of him saying, well, I'm going to use this thing. I'm going to break this rule because maybe this thing can save us if I break this rule. It's a very simplistic 7-year-old mind kind of motivation that it says in his little world of, I know my brother and my mom and the blorb, and I want to keep them safe, and I can do it by doing this. To me, that's all it takes. Is his little 7-year-old mind comes up with this idea and does it without being able to, quite literally, as a 7-year-old, he will not be able to understand potential bad consequences of this action. He just sees, maybe if I do this, I can do this. And he doesn't think about, well, maybe that will make it eat all of us. He doesn't think that way. He says, maybe I can use it to protect my family. And it's a very simple motivation, especially for a 7-year-old, but it works because he is a 7-year-old.
Yeah, that would make it a lot make a lot more sense. It would make that last little action sequence where he's able to stab the guy with the pitchfork a little bit less believable.
I would say he stuck it up in desperation, not with the intent of actually stabbing him, but trust me, having been whacked unintentionally several times by little kids, they just flail.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you switch it from it's an intentional stab to it's a flail, he just kind of swings and hopes. We've all seen YouTube videos of dads getting groin shots with wiffle bats too. So, I mean, that's all it would take is just a slight word change, and it stops becoming a deliberate, I defended an adult, to I accidentally hit him with the pitchfork because I was flailing.
Something I'm considering also hearing you guys talk is that the character doesn't necessarily have to be, in order to give the character this flavor of vulnerability and this kind of lack of wisdom and yet a desperation to do something. They don't necessarily even need to be blind. They don't need to be 7 necessarily. They could be mentally handicapped. They could be crippled, like something. And obviously, don't just throw that in there as kind of a easy expedient. But I think there could be a way to imply that the character's vulnerability. Yeah, I'll play with that.
Yeah. So the maintaining your character's innocence allows for simplistic plans and simplistic reactions. Is how I view it. And however you maintain that innocence, whatever that happens to be, whatever flavor that happens to take.
Yeah.
Yeah. Appreciate that. I think that's all the questions I had. Anything else?
No, good work.
All right, appreciate your feedback, guys.
So
So I think this would normally be the point of the show in which we answer any questions that were posed by our live studio audience in Orlando, Florida. But I don't currently see...
No, I'm looking.
There are 3 people
That's
watching us, and it might just be us that's watching us.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't know. We don't necessarily have a question that we had planned.
No.
We're hoping to field some questions from you lovely people who are no doubt listening to this in the future then, if not present.
So, again, to reiterate, we are a writers group. This is what we do. We do this once a week. We are striving to improve our abilities as writers. So when you get into a writers group, don't try to pattern it necessarily after what we're doing, because this is what works for us. And this is our approach. Yes, you need to have pieces that you're going to critique. Yes, you need to make sure that you're giving the good and the bad, and you're trying to make their pieces better. But do you meet once a month? Do you meet every other week? Do you meet in person? Do you meet over Discord? Do you have the crazy idea of turning it into a podcast and putting it on YouTube and other places? All of that, those are the side details. But the main detail is we are trying to get each other to the point where our books are ready for publication. Our books are the best that we can get them to be, so when they're let go into the wild, people read them, and the vast majority of people that read them enjoy them. Not everybody will. That's life. So,
Yep.
1-star reviews are often just as important as 4 and 5-star reviews.
Engagement is good. Like and subscribe, people. Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Something else we do as a writers group that's been really helpful is post a daily word count. Kind of keeps each other accountable. Any writer knows that is sometimes the hardest part is actually just writing. And so
Yeah.
when you have a group of people who are encouraging you and you're putting it out there that you have been writing or that you're not writing, and you can feel guilty, and they can razz you all they want,
Yeah.
that will help you actually start writing, because you can't be a writer without writing.
Yep. If you're not putting words on the page, you're not getting anywhere with your story.
Yeah, and there's a lot of encouragement to be had in that. If I haven't written today and I'm in the doldrums and I'm like, I'm just no good at this, maybe I'll give up. Or I've written like 200 words for the day. I just hit my head against the wall earlier in the morning. I have some free time in the evening. And stinking JC gets on there and posts that he wrote, whatever, 2,500 to 10,000 words that day, some impossible amount. Ironically, rather than that like crushing my willpower and sapping all life force from me, that actually encourages me, because I'm like, if JC can do it, I can at least get a fraction of what he's writing. I can catch that vision, catch that fire, and that usually is to my benefit, actually, when I see
Yeah.
what you guys are posting. Yeah, and kudos to both of you, since we're kind of limping through this today. A migraine, JC, and Tyler's like dying of pneumonia.
Pretty much.
The plague.
The plague. I touched an armadillo and I got leprosy.
There you go.
Is that how that happens? Yeah.
Can.
Yeah.
Well, dear listeners who are watching this in the future, because nobody's watching this right now, we love ya.